We'll call tonight's council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Council members Anderson.
Here.
Benega.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Costello.
Here.
Jamison.
Here.
Knutson. Litz.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
We have a quorum present. Tonight will be led in the invocation by Council Member Pat Costello, and after the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Lord, during this Lenten season, we pray the Holy Spirit will strengthen us as he did Jesus during the 40 days he spent during Lent. Lord, thank you for all the blessings you have provided our community. We ask you to keep safe all those who risk their lives to provide us with the liberty we enjoy, including the military, law enforcement, and rescue personnel. We ask for your guidance always, but especially tonight, in this chamber as we do the people's work. Grant that our city will continue to enjoy the prosperity of the past and the high quality of life forever. And bless the Scouts of Troop 346 who have joined us tonight. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Costello. And he did mention we are pleased to have Troop 346 here tonight from St. Michael's, so we want to welcome you young men here and for the council meeting at this time. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Benega.
Benega moves. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further motions? Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Has been approved 7 yes, 1 excused. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved, Benega.
Benega moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconded. Further motions, comments on the regular agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All members present have voted. The regular agenda has been approved 7 yes, 1 excused. At this time, we set aside a period of 5 minutes for anyone that wishes to address the council. We just ask that they give their name and their address. So anyone wishing to address the council at this time, we ask you to come forward. I see no one that is coming forward, so we will move into the regular agenda at this time. Item number 20.
Conditional use permit appeal 2009-01-01, 4329 North Alaska Avenue and 4320 North Colorado Avenue. The conditional use permit was to construct townhomes, approved at the February 4, 2009 Planning Commission meeting with a split vote, 4 yes, 3 no.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. Tonight we have consideration of an appeal for the conditional use permit requesting 2 twin home lots to be developed. The applicant is Habitat for Humanity. The location of the lots would be on the south side of 54th Street North, east of Marion Road. And these lots are currently vacant and they are zoned RS2 residential. Based on that zoning classification, single-family dwellings are permitted uses and twin homes are allowed by conditional use permit. After consideration by the Planning Commission, which was a split vote as we saw tonight, there was a letter submitted by representatives of the neighborhood asking for a second hearing and consideration by the City Council tonight. And so what I'd like to do tonight is go through the information that we have received from the neighborhood with some of the concerns that have been identified as part of your consideration tonight. The first question had to do with whether or not duplexes or twin homes should be allowed within a single-family neighborhood. And again, in this particular location, although it is primarily single-family detached, except to the west along Marion Road, as I stated earlier, the zoning does allow for the consideration of twin homes. In some single-family subdivisions, a developer will put covenants on the property, limiting it only to single-family. However, in this particular development, that has not been the case. The other consideration that we had as staff is that 54th Street North is classified as a collector street, and these two lots are on the corner, and so it's not unusual to have twin homes or duplexes adjacent to a collector street, as opposed to, say, if it was more mid-block along strictly the residential streets or local streets. A second question by the neighborhood is that there's concerns about these potentially being rental units. When the townhome development was approved to the west along Marion Road, those have now become, or are rental units, and the neighbors were under the impression that those would be owner-occupied. And so the concern is that these potential twin homes would also have the capability of being rental units. Habitat for Humanity has a requirement that these have to be owner-occupied, and there is a representative here tonight that maybe can let the council know how they would assure that to be the case. But typically, when we approve residential development, we don't mandate whether it has to be owner-occupied or rental. But again, Habitat has a requirement that these have to be owner-occupied. A third concern is that because 54th Street North is only half improved, only the south half has curb and gutter, that there are concerns currently about parking on the north side of the street, again, adjacent to the townhomes over towards Marion Road. And that has created some concerns and some congestion because of the narrowness of the street. We have worked with other property owners on limiting parking along the streets. In this particular case, the north side of 54th Street is part of the University Center property, and until such time as they petition for street improvements, there would not be any incentive for the city to initiate both sides of the street to be completed. But we can look at some ways of trying to address the on-street parking if that was something that would be worth considering for the future. So again, based on the information that we have received, those are the three primary issues that the neighborhood has brought up. The planning office, after the planning commission meeting, did meet with Habitat, and again, there are representatives here tonight. We talked about the concerns of the neighborhood, and the information that I was given is that these will be owner-occupied units, and that because of the large size of the lots and because they are on a corner, Habitat wanted to maximize their development potential and put in twin homes as opposed to single family, and that the proposed cost of these units will be in the $140,000 to $150,000 range per unit, and they will have two-car garages. We also investigated whether or not these lots could be split into smaller single-family lots, and it would be very difficult. The one to the west, which is along Alaska, does not have enough lot area to split it into two smaller single-family lots, and the one farther to the east would be difficult to split into two lots and still meet the required setbacks. So you'll either have two single-family units on large lots, or you would have, based on the request tonight, the twin homes. Another item that we received from the neighborhood representatives is that they had not had a chance to meet with Habitat at a neighborhood meeting or talk in more detail about their concerns. We did try to meet with, I should say, the planning office did schedule a meeting with a representative of the neighborhood last week, but that didn't happen because of the scheduling conflicts. But we do have a representative tonight as well from the neighborhood to talk about their issues. So again, the Planning Commission recommendation was 4 in favor of the conditional use and 3 opposed to it. That will end my comments if you have any questions.
Mike, you said that these twin homes will have a value of 120 to 140,000. Was that? Did I hear that right?
140,000 to 150,000 per
and
unit.
So the homes that are around that, what do they range at?
I don't have that information. I didn't have a chance to research that, but maybe there's others here tonight that can give you that information.
Director Cooper, actually, I just came from that area just a half hour ago, and I had not been out in that area for a while. And there were quite a few cars parked. I would say that is a fairly narrow road. I didn't have trouble getting through, but I would say the parking was noticeable. The parking difficulty a little bit noticeable. I'm curious. I think Habitat for Humanity does great work in our community, and I suppose they can answer this as well as you. But is that a new concept to try for them to get into the duplex business? I always thought they were into the single-family housing. Is that kind of a new?
I will let them maybe address it, but I believe, I don't know that they've done that before in Sioux Falls.
All right.
If they have, I'm not aware of where it has been undertaken in the past.
Okay. Thank you.
But they are here tonight to
Okay.
maybe address that.
Mike, you said you had some recommendations or ideas on improving the parking along that street. What are some of your ideas?
Well, I think irregardless of what happens tonight with the conditional use, that we would like to go back and work with the property owner of the townhomes to the west and look at what type of parking is going on now. They have put in the required off-street parking, and so I'm not sure why the residents out there are using the street as much as they are, but that's something that we would want to go out with traffic engineering and just take a look at and see if we could come up with some ideas to address that situation. Because if they are parking on the north side of that unimproved street, that we probably need to put some type of signage out there prohibiting that we could enforce. That's just one thought.
Just another question. Is there I guess I'm into this job about a year now, but I'm not familiar with any other roads around that are like half of a street. Are there more like this?
It's not, we don't have that many now, but the one that we did have up until last year was East 57th Street, going out east of Cliff Avenue out towards Sycamore. That was the north side was curb and gutter, and the south side was a rural section, and that was in that condition for quite a few years.
Well, like Dee, I drove that area earlier today, and I can only imagine if you had a car parked on the street in front of those townhomes, throw in a little snow and a little darkness, and it'd be pretty easy for somebody to go off that edge and get onto that other side that's unimproved. Is there anything at all that we could do to give them a full road? Anything? Even if we just lay down some gravel, something to bring so there wasn't a drop-off there with the asphalt. Anything.
I think we could look at it if there's an opportunity to widen out that section as you get towards Marion Road. Again, I would say that no matter what happens tonight, that we'd want to go back and look at that situation and work with the engineering staff on
Perfect.
it.
Mike, bring me up to speed here again on the I-90 interchange, as well as finishing this piece of Marion Road up to Benson Road, as far as it being a arterial. When is that?
I wish I could give you a good answer on that one tonight, but the I-90 interchange with Marion Road has been on the plans for a number of years. It is a State Department of Transportation project, and so it has continued to be delayed. But the city portion of that would be from 60th Street north up to the approach of the intersection.
So I know, I'm looking at the map here, and I was pretty sure, and I see it now for sure, that 54th Street is the halfway point, so there's always going to be an access off the arterial there.
Yes.
Now, I know also there's some apartments down there off of, I think it's Jan's, right next to the waterway, and we've had some parking issues down there as well. With that, does that fall on the quarter mile or the three-quarter, that Jan's Avenue? Is that going to be your access for, it looks like it's a little bit off due to the waterway.
Yeah, it's close to that point, though. But
Okay.
54th Street is the half-mile point. It's the half-mile line, and so it is, again, classified as a major collector street. And with the future University Center directly to the north, it will eventually have quite a bit of traffic on it.
Will the University Center also have one access within that half mile there? The quarter, half mile, three-quarter
Right.
mile?
Kerr Avenue is the half-mile point right now, which we're showing on there.
Director Cooper, I forgot to ask one other question, and also I forgot to apologize to you for walking in late during your presentation, is that another concern that I had after being out there was, as that area, I mean, it's really a very nice development, is that I guess I have some concerns at this point about a driveway off 54th Street. Alaska doesn't bother me as much, but, I mean, is that a good idea for a driveway to be off 54th Street right there with, eventually that street getting busier and busier, I assume?
Well, even if it's just a single family, that would still be
Okay, that
an
would
option.
still come off there,
Right.
okay.
So really tonight, you're considering should there be 2 units or 4 units on those 2 lots?
All right, thank you.
Other questions of Mike?
I had something for the folks from Habitat, the Habitat representative, whenever they get up here.
You would. Other questions of Mike? Others that wish to address
Thank
the
you.
council on item number 20? Others that wish to address the council on item number 20? Come forward, give your name and address, please.
Thank you. My name is Mark Giese. I live at 4325 North Colorado, which would be across the street from one of the proposed duplexes. I'm here to represent the petitioners that we have listed. I don't have an accurate count. I believe it's in the neighborhood of 100 of our neighbors that also agreed with us that we would rather have a single-family house than a duplex in this position. I would just like to really quick clarify something as far as that was just mentioned by staff. There is not another single-family house that comes out onto 54th. They are all on the arterial streets, whether it's Alaska, Colorado, Montana, Ohio. You don't show any other houses coming off onto 54th Street. As has been brought up by staff, 54th Street has been an issue. The stretch of 57th, I believe, to clarify, was actually a fully paved road. It just had curb and gutter on one side, but at least it was a full road. This is not. I know several of you were generous enough with your time today to come out and take a look at the area we're referencing. We actually would welcome Habitat in there for a single-family house like our house. When we built our house, we picked out the lot. We actually owned a house prior to the house we built about 6 blocks south of there in the same development. We looked over the entire part of Sioux Falls. We researched the covenants. We decided that this is the neighborhood we'd want to be in, and obviously if we thought there was a chance of a duplex being across the street from us, we would have thought twice about it. The parking, as many of you have mentioned, is an issue. 54th Street, per the city GIS plan, is actually going to connect with Innovation or Career. I believe it's now called Innovation Drive. That, as you can imagine, as Marion Road is finished, some of you, I think, had the misfortune of driving that today. I think that's where that question came in. It's kind of an adventure, but that's another topic. But as the university expands, you can easily see how it's going to increase the traffic with students coming to the university. And has been a safety issue. I don't see how you're going to make it any better as far as that goes.
Questions, Mark? Thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council, come forward, give your name and address. Come forward, name and address, please.
I'm Dwayne Barnes. I'm the construction manager for Habitat for Humanity. Our address is 721 East Amadon Street. One of the questions that was posed is, has Habitat ever built twin homes before? Probably not here in Sioux Falls, at least not in my tenure in working for Habitat. And one of the reasons is we've had the extreme luxury of having small, inexpensive lots. But as you all know, in the past few years, land has become very expensive. And to shepherd our resources at the best possible use and to give our families affordable housing at the lowest possible cost, we thought this was the best use for those two lots. If we do not use them for twin homes, it will probably cost the families in the neighborhood of another $100 a month in mortgage costs, building them somewhere else. So that's one of the reasons we considered it. We did try to split those lots, but it's not probably possible as they're planning, Dave from planning said.
Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank you for your work with Habitat, and I'd like you also to know that you do indeed have twin homes that were built by Habitat. They're over off Cleveland, about 15th and 16th, and I know that because I framed them up for Habitat. Also going to be framing another house for Habitat through First Lutheran Church, so I want you to know I'm very much in tune with what you folks do. The thing that I'm looking at here was that $140,000, is that per side of the twin home?
Yes.
Typically, what median income does Habitat look to service?
We served 30 to 50%, so a fairly low income group. Most families have a gross annual income of around $20,000 to $25,000. That in that neighborhood, it does vary by families, of course. Typically, half of our families may be a single-parent family with a couple of children, steady job. All of our families are required to be owner-occupants. We don't rent any of our properties out. There's a clause in the mortgages. Habitat carries the mortgages, so they can't sublease them. So that's how we work that situation. We don't have rental property.
What my question was $140,000 is per side of the twin home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the appraised value, or that be
That'll
the value
probably be the appraised value. The houses are going to be in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 1,200 square feet per level. One of the twin homes is going to be a two 4-bedroom units, and the other is going to be 2 3-bedroom units, and that's based on the size of the families.
What I'm struggling with here is, I guess, 30 to 50% of the median income. If I look at a $140,000 house, that's not what you're selling it to these clients for. Is that correct?
No, that's the appraised value. We sell it to the families for the actual cost, the cost of building it, the cost of the land, and then there's some small administrative costs. So typically, these families are going to be in those houses for around $100,000. Give or take 10, maybe 90 to 110, because costs are going up as usual.
Very good, thank you.
How does that work? You say you build that into the mortgages, the restriction of the owner occupied. If somebody moves in and say 3 or 4 years down the road, they're transferred for their job or something, and then they sell the home and pay off the mortgage, does that restriction somehow still apply?
No. If they sell the home, just like anybody, you could sell your home, then it becomes another owner's property. Typically, it doesn't happen with Habitat families because they're very stable families usually, and the home cost is so low. But if that does happen, then we don't have any control over the property, just like if you or I sold our home. One of the things they don't gain if they sell their home in a short period of time, though, is they don't gain the equity in the home. And that's the difference between this cost of selling them the home and the appraisal value. That sweat equity that's in that home, they don't get that. That's prorated based on years that they live in the house.
How long have you owned those 2 lots there?
I believe 2 years.
And how old are the duplexes that are on the corner there? The other ones that have already
They
been
were
built?
built last year. The townhomes, you mean?
Townhomes, okay.
Yes, they were built last year. We built some other homes out there last year. We built 3 other homes in that subdivision last year on much smaller lots, of course, and we used to drive by there every day when they were building those.
Further questions? None. Thank you very much, Dwayne. Others that wish to address the council on item number 20? Yes. Go ahead. Name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Tim Geary. I live at 4320 North Alaska. One of my concerns is looking at the future land use plan of Sioux Falls at an average of 3.5 units per acre. Looking at the conditional use permit application, we're only talking 0.55 acres. And if they put 4 units on there, that's up to 4 units per. So we're well beyond our per unit basis here. So we're just, we did have a question for Habitat. One of the neighbors tried to contact Sue Olson, and she never did get back to Stephanie Woods in regards to what Habitat's density is in other neighborhoods around town. And this gentleman just before myself, said they put up 3 last summer. That was all fine and dandy, but now we're just kind of real concerned as to where things are going.
Sir, can you give me an idea on what your estimate of the homes in that neighborhood are?
We've got a few of them out there. They're running about the 140 to 180.
Just a question for Tim and or Mark. Do you guys, you've seen those other single-family residents that they've built out there? Have you seen those? Do you have any problem with those?
No.
So if we were to vote tonight to put single-family homes on those 2 vacant lots, or to allow a single-family, would you be in favor of that?
Oh, yes.
And would Mark, would you? Thank you.
Further questions? No, thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council on item number 20? Not? Is there council discussion or council action on item number 20? Very good.
I just wanted to share that I went out there and drove that area, and, I took a close look at it, and I love what the Habitat for Humanity does, but in my personal opinion, I don't see that the twin homes fit. They've got a great spot in the corner where they've built four sets of units there. And that corner then is kind of done. But to add any more, I think is going to take away from the other homes that are there. And I know that some of those lots might be, suited maybe for something like this because it's on a busy street. But I would really encourage us to stay with the single family, even though it only gives them half the homes or half the residents they need. I think in the long run, that's really going to protect the neighborhood. Another point that Pat and I were talking about was the fact that this neighborhood is already there, and then they're trying to add these twin homes. It'd be all different if these twin homes were there and the neighborhood came around it and built their homes. But I just think we've got to listen to these residents. And I think Mark mentioned he had 100 or nearly 100 of the other neighbors who were opposed to the twin homes, but it sounds like they're in favor of a single-family residence. I think that's probably a good idea. I guess that's my nudging of the council if I can.
Further comments?
Like Greg said, I live a couple lots away from a couple of twin homes, and I don't have any concern about what they do to the neighborhood or the neighbors or anything like that. But the difference with this is that, or in my case, is that I built my house after the twin homes. I knew they were there, and I accepted that. And to change the game on them after they've already made the investment into their home just doesn't seem like that's is fair. And I doubt that there will be any adverse effect of the neighborhood. But that's not what they built their homes around. They built it with the idea there were going to be other single-family homes, and I strongly encourage Habitat to maybe try to make that work with the single-family homes.
Further comments?
I really agree with both Councilor Costello and Councilor Jameson on this topic. It's difficult for me, though, because I so much respect the work that Habitat for Humanity does in our community, and even though I very much appreciate the opportunity to serve on the City Council, my favorite work is helping refugee families in our community, and I enjoy that even much more than City Council, if you can imagine. But and so many refugee families are able to have homes because of Habitat for Humanity. So this is a difficult vote for me, but after, just being out there again, or being out there tonight, it's that I really do believe a consistent approach, a zone single family, and that is how I will be voting.
Further discussion, is a motion to approve?
I so move Knutson.
You move to approve, okay, is there a second? Can we just second it?
I'm not going to second.
Can I second this? We got to do it in the affirmative. We got, so
You got to give it a second and we vote on it.
yeah, you got to vote.
Second, Costello.
Costello, second. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess there are two important thoughts that should be brought up before we vote. First of all, we briefly mentioned Habitat Humanity. Does a lot of good for lower-income people, and this is going to make it more difficult for Habitat for Humanity. But also something, too, of equal importance, if not more important than that, is the idea of property rights. Habitat for Humanity has owned this property for 2 years. Now we're going to say, well, we're not going to allow you to build these twin homes on this property. In our Constitution, we do talk about property rights. And unfortunately, over the past several years, property rights have become more and more diminished. And I don't want us to diminish property rights anymore. And so I guess I'm not going to be voting for this.
Well, I believe in property rights also, but there are many properties out there, I feel like those 100, 150 neighbors, how many are out there, that they have property rights also. Very much so, actually. And I guess another thought I have that I should have said earlier, or could have said earlier, is that, again, when Habitat for Humanity bought that property, all those single-family homes were there. This, to me, should not be a huge surprise. I can understand that, a nonprofit that does such wonderful work would hope that, the City Council would ultimately, or the Planning Commission would ultimately support their, the decision to do duplexes. But, I'm just saying, when Habitat went out there and bought the property, all around it were single-family homes. So I think that's another factor to consider.
Mike, can I ask you a question? You said it would be difficult to split one of these two lots. Wasn't that correct? No, there was one, I believe you said he couldn't.
The one to the west could not be subdivided, and the one to the east would be extremely difficult to meet the required setbacks. It would be very confined.
Would that be similar to any other lots out there, though, that are there any other lots that are confined out in that area either, or?
Well, the corner ones are larger because they are on a corner and they have to have additional setback off 2 streets as opposed to one.
Okay.
So I don't really see that it was approved with the idea that those could be re-subdivided into smaller lots.
Okay.
Further comments? We've got a motion before us to approve item number 20, the conditional use permit. All in favor of approving the conditional use permit will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
No.
Costello.
No.
Jameson.
No.
Knutson.
No.
Litz.
No.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
No.
All members present have voted 2 yes and 6 noes. Item number 20 has failed. Item number 21.
Deferred action, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by amending the Board of Ethics ordinances as found in Chapter 12.5 of the revised ordinances of Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yes, I've got that.
Okay.
Yes. We've had this before the City Council a number of times, and I've mentioned before that this ethics ordinance began actually with Bob Jamieson and myself over a year ago, and obviously we've been working on this for a long time. It's important that we do pass this ethics ordinance. I would prefer we do it tonight because during the past we've had some problems. A primary problem is the question of due process. We've had situations where council members, the people have complained about something they might have done or perceived they have done. Complaint is filed, not a complaint, an advisory opinion is sought before the ethics board. The council member does not even know about this. And then the ethics committee, in secret, makes a decision without the council member having an opportunity to even know what's going on, to even speak against the decision. So this is a big concern, having due process here when we talk about ethics violations or perceived ethics violations. The primary issue is the advisory opinion, and there is a concern among many people this has become very politicized. And so this ordinance will prevent advisory opinions from becoming politicized. So those are the two main things here, the due process in this ethics ordinance, and also preventing advisory opinions from becoming politicized.
And I agree with Councilor Stagers. We have been working on this issue for really some time now. However, I do feel really good about the conversations that the councilors have been able to have recently with the members of the Board of Ethics, and I very much respect their wishes that they have just requested to just have just a little bit more time to work on our make suggestions to our proposal, and we had not included them in the mix earlier, and some of us wish that we had. And in addition to just out of professional courtesy, I would like to make a motion to defer this item until March 16th.
Second, Costello.
Okay, March 16th, the motion made and seconded to defer item number 21 until March 16th. Further discussion on that motion?
Yes, I guess my concern is that why couldn't we defer this until next week? The reason I say that is because this last week, the Ethics Committee had a meeting, and they're going to have a meeting this Thursday, and I think we've given them more than enough time to actually bring any proposals before us. So I guess why are we having such another long delay?
Well, you know, the reason I chose March 16th in my motion was because that was what had been respectfully requested of me. And again, the fact that we've been working on this for way over a year off and on, and sometimes we didn't touch it for months, is that I can't imagine that 7 more days could change anything negatively for anyone. And so again, that is how I came up with that date, and I don't consider 7 more days a long delay or whatever you called it.
So since 7 days is not going to be any big deal, I guess I would have a substitute amendment to make it March 9th.
Substitute motion for March 9th. Is there a second on that motion? That motion dies for lack of second, so we're back to the main motion of deferring item number 21 until March 16th. Is there further discussion on that motion? Not all in favor of the motion to defer item 21 to March 16th? Yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knudsen.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
No.
Anderson.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 21 has been deferred to March 16th, 7 yes and 1 no, and now we're on item 22.
Second reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1227 East 8th Street and 131 North Sherman Avenue, petition number 2009-01-03, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is located in the southwest corner of 8th Street and Sherman Avenue. There is an existing 5-unit apartment building on the property, and Virgil Benz, who is the owner, is requesting permission to rezone this to add an additional apartment unit in the basement level. It does meet the off-street parking requirements, and it is compatible with other development. This is located within the Whittier neighborhood, and as of tonight, we have not received any negative comments from other property owners in the area.
Questions of Mike on item number 22? Others? Oh, Kenny.
Mike, how many people will be living at this residence now?
It would be a 6-unit as opposed to 5. And Mr. Benz is here tonight if you have any questions for him.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 22? Is there a motion to approve?
I so move. Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, let's
second it. Further comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 22 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 22 has been approved 8-0. Item 23.
Second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at the southwest corner of East 41st Street and South 6 Mile Road. Petition number 2009-01-05 and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a 135-acre parcel. Brian Bauer is the applicant and owner. And the City Council has previously approved a land use amendment for this particular rezoning request tonight. The proposed development will include residential, and based on the density that's proposed, there will be the potential of approximately 433 lots as part of this rezoning application tonight.
Questions of Mike on item number 23? Others that wish to address the council on item number 23? Not?
I move for approval of item number 23, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
second, let's
Let's second it. Further comments on the motion to approve item 23? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 23 has been approved 8-0. Item 24.
First reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by establishing the city's fee for the issuance of on-sale licenses for full-service restaurants in the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as set forth in Chapter 5, Alcoholic Beverages.
Hi, Lori Hogstead with the City Attorney's Office. This ordinance tonight is the result of an ordinance that was adopted by the council in December, Ordinance 15308, which encompassed the regulations set forth by Senate Bill 126, which has to do with the restaurant on-sale full-service licenses. The first step in implementing these new licenses for the city is to determine the fair market valuation. And our duty was to collect information from sales and transfers from January 1, 03 to January 1 of 08. In order to determine the current fair market value, we had to take the sale of the last business that took place during this time period. As a result, we took all the information in, and the last license sold, which was sold in December of 07, was sold for $260,000. That needs to be our fair market value based on Senate Bill 126 and our ordinance.
Questions of Lori on item number 24? Go ahead.
Yeah, Lori, that so-called fair market value was in 2007. Here we are in 2009. I would assume that, it's not the same as in 2007. Is there any way by state law that we can just simply say that we will actually sell these for true market value
Well,
instead of coming up with some artificial number like this?
Well, I don't know that you would call it an artificial number because it was the price that the license was sold for in December of 07. And the state law is very specific that we have to collect the data from January 1, 03 to January 1 of 08. And it just so happens our last one was sold in December of 07. Council action was actually 12/31/07. And we are tied to using that amount. And if we, honestly, if we were to take an amount for one sold now, it could possibly be more. We have none available. They could certainly go for a higher price, and some did sell for a higher price. This just happened to be the sale of the last one. So.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The only thing I would say, Counselor, is the statute sets this, and there isn't any leeway to change based upon this new special type of license. And the other thing you'll have to remember is I don't think we change it for 10 years. And that's what the legislature said in order to authorize this. And now we have to set up a registry for people that hold a regular type license that would be willing to sell that, which is the next step. So in answer to your question, you would think so, but the people have said that passed the law, no, this is how it's set. So, and these ladies, I call them my booze team, they've spent hours going through this, and they've done a marvelous job in drafting that in accordance with what the law requires.
Lori, I was just curious how high, what was the highest license sold?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I have this in front of me. We collected information from 22 applicants. The lowest was actually $50,000, which was, to me, fairly low compared to our other lows were generally around $100,000. The highest was $300,000. And it all determined, the first 10 we received the information on, we had licenses available. So they weren't going to go for much more than our $155. And then we hit a period where we did not have licenses available, and of course you could see the price go up. Then again, we had licenses available. However, they only went to the individuals on the official list, so the prices remained high. So $300,000 was our highest.
Just a comment, I believe, and Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Rapid City's market value is $395.
I believe theirs is up there quite a bit. It will be definitely higher than ours. It's either $295 or $395.
I think $395.
But they're in an interesting quandary where even with the new census numbers in 2010, I don't believe they'll still be able to issue licenses because they're so far over their numbers and their quotas.
Just a comment, I was, like Mr. Staggers, concerned that the high price of these was somewhat inflationary, especially for a non-transferable license. But I have had several subsequent conversations from those who are in this business and those folks who would be trying to pull people, restaurants, businesses into Sioux Falls through the lure of having this license, and they have said that if it's in this realm, that it's still doable, it's not going to scare anybody away. So with that comment and Rapid City's price there, I think that I don't know what a fair price is, but that's where it's at and it's workable. So.
Other comments, Greg?
So you're a booze gal, huh?
That's right, we're the booze team.
Booze
The
girls.
3 of us.
The last sale that you were referring to, was that for a full-service liquor license without any strings attached?
That's right. The numbers that we collected were for the retail liquor on-sale licenses. And those, there's really no strings attached to those. We weren't able to issue the restaurant yet, so it's just the full-service restaurant, retail, not restaurant, but full-service retail liquor licenses.
And this license that you're setting the fee for now has strings attached.
It does. For the restaurant, on-sale full-service restaurant license, one of those is that, no smoking, and probably the most important one is they have to meet a percentage criteria, no more than 40%. At least the law right now states no more than 40% alcohol sales. There's no gray area. It's 40% and under.
Pat?
Well, I can't let this go by without commenting, but because it is my industry, and I think, food and beverages. I know there's probably not much the city can do about it because we're tied by the legislature, but it is absolutely ridiculous. It's protectionism at its best. You've got people who are buying licenses that are driving up the price to keep a bunch of other people out, and all it does is going to limit competition. And I know we don't have any other options here, but the legislature really needs to fix this problem. And I don't think it was too far ago that Nebraska had a runaway system like this, and when it got so bad, they called it quits. And today you can buy an alcohol license in Nebraska for $779. And that's what needs to happen.
Further comments? Not?
Just one other thing that we didn't mention is this is a special license, and if you don't live up to the 60/40, you lose it. And there's no hearing on that either, we found out.
Bob,
Lori, who would be checking on this 60/40? Who's going to audit these businesses' books to make sure that they're in compliance?
We're hoping that the finance office will be good to us and help us with that, but we will require, when they submit their renewals, and, we haven't worked that far ahead quite yet, but we have looked at that, they will need to provide documentation at renewal time from a public accountant. They can't just write something on a sheet of notebook paper and hand it in. We need to be able to go through and determine that that is the correct information. And we will work through that system when we get to that time.
Thank you, Lori.
further questions? Not, is there a motion to set the hearing date for March 9th for item number 24?
So moved. Brown.
Brown moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments? All in favor of setting the hearing date for March 9th for item 24, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 24 has been approved 8-0 for the hearing date set March 9th. Item 25.
A resolution authorizing the City of Sioux Falls to gift to the Renner Fire Department a 1992 red fire tanker C-70.
Mayor, Council, Don Hill, Fire Chief. This is a truck that we obtained when we started providing service to Wayne Township. It belonged to Wayne Township, and we acquired it at that time. It's reached the end of its useful life for us, and it has no trade value for us. So we'd like to donate it to Renner.
Further questions of Don? Not others that wish to address the council on item number 25? None. Is there a motion?
Sorry, move to approve.
Brown, who seconded?
Second, Benega.
Benega seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 25, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 25 has been approved 8-0. Item 26.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, correcting the legal description of Annexation Resolution Number 15708 and Resolution Number 409, 2008-08-01, southeast corner of 85th Street and Minnesota Avenue, Ackerson.
This is an item that the city council has seen before. It's a 22-acre parcel in that southeast corner, and we have now received a third request from the Lincoln County Register of Deeds to modify the legal description. So this will be the third time that we've acted on this tonight, and we hope this is the last.
Questions of Mike on item number 26. Others who wish to address the council on item 26? Is there a motion? Okay, Kirk.
Yeah. Mike, any insight as to why they can't get it right?
I don't have any insight tonight.
Okay.
This is a very unusual situation, and it's, it's an odd-shaped piece of land to start with. It's not platted, and so I think as we go through the legal description, it just has become more of a challenge than most of the other parcels we deal with.
I like to make a motion.
Oh, you made a motion? Okay, you made a motion? Okay, put that down. Is there a second? Then I'll go to
Second, Benega.
Okay, go ahead then, Gerald. Let me go with the motion, okay. You.
I had a question of Mike there. I noticed it's got a real irregular boundary. Is that a waterway that is dividing that, or was that arbitrarily drawn by?
That is the edge of future South Dakota Highway 100.
Okay, very good.
We're planning ahead.
The right-of-way is included on that then?
This will provide for that future corridor to go through there.
Yes.
Okay, we've got a motion been made and seconded. Others who wish to address the council on item 26? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 26, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 26 has been approved 8-0. Item 27.
Report of the February 18, 2009 notice of transfer of appropriations within major organizational units.
We don't have to take any action on that. Item 28.
Report of the February 28, 2009 notice of transfer of appropriations within major organizational units.
Same on that one, so we're at the end. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Costello, is there a second?
Second. Brown.
Brown seconds. All in favor of the motion to adjourn? The vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
We stand adjourned.
Jonathan? You, sir?